Thank you for calling Crop Moving and Storage. This is Andrew.
Hi, Andrew. I'm calling to get a moving quote.
Okay, and what was your name?
My name's Bethany.
Bethany, I'm Andrew. Nice to meet you. Where are we moving from today, Bethany? What's your address?
I am moving from 2455 Bryan Drive in Mansfield.
Okay, and do you have an idea about when your move's going to take place? Is it coming up here soon, or?
We actually just listed the house. We haven't sold, so we're not sure, but I mean, we assume probably the next couple months.
Okay, now do you have the house that you're purchasing already bought, or are you still looking for a home?
We are still looking for a home, but...
Okay, well I can go off of an area. What city are you looking to move to?
We're definitely going to be somewhere down in Southern Columbus.
Southern Columbus? Okay, we can work off of that. So what we do, just to give you an idea of how we operate, I'm going to walk you through. We're going to go room by room, and I'm going to get an inventory of all your items. And what that's going to do is going to allow me to know how many men and how many trucks we're going to send on this job, how long it's going to take, so I can give you an accurate quote. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, so we'll start. I'll just have you go to the master bedroom. Pause. Other side of that.
Inventory.
Okay, I got everything I needed here. It looks like we're at about 10,000 pounds. Probably going to use two trucks, 5 men. With it being a 100-mile move, it may turn into a 2-day move just due to the time it's going to take to load. So we're going to get everything loaded up. They'll be out in the morning. We'll have 4 protection down, get everything loaded up, and then we'll take that 100-mile drive and probably finish on the next day. Does that sound okay to you?
Gotcha, I think so. If it's 2 days instead of 1, is that an additional cost?
The additional cost is only going to come from the time that it takes to do the move. So we could try to cram it in a move, but with our guys, you know, they work 6 days a week, so we try to keep them at 8-hour days just so they're not getting overworked. So the cost is going to be probably the same. We're just going to spread it out over a little bit longer time period so the guys aren't getting burnt out.
Gotcha.
So we're looking at probably, let me pull the numbers here. It looks like we're around 4,200. And again, we're going to charge for the actual time that takes. So when I do estimates, I try to get on the upper end of that just to give you a realistic idea of what it's going to cost. So we may come in a little bit under that. Again, that's why we want to keep them at those 8-hour days. So let me get this sent over to you here so that you're looking at the same thing that I am. Did you get it?
I do see this here. So you're saying an 8-hour day at the longest. Do you have an estimate of how many hours you think this would take, worst case?
Yeah, with the drive, you know, we're looking at, it's about a 40-minute out to Mansfield, plus our load time. Like I said, I'm gonna assume 5 men, probably 8 hours on the first day. They should have you unloaded in 3 or 4 hours, and then, you know, we're gonna have an hour and a half or so coming back home on that second day. So it won't quite be 2 full days, but it is gonna, like I said, it will take place over 2 days.
Okay, and where are your crews coming from?
So our crew's based in Worcester, Ohio, so we're about 40 minutes east of Mansfield. And we charge from the time we get to your residence in Mansfield until we're done with the move.
Okay, so there's no charge for your drive from from Worcester to me?
That's correct, yep.
Gotcha, okay.
Are there any other questions that you had on the estimate?
As far as materials go, what's included?
So we include TV boxes for any TVs over 50 inches, just to make sure that we're protecting all that. We will bring mattress bags for all the beds, make sure those are covered. And then obviously, I didn't notice that you had any items. So didn't ask. Didn't notice that you had specialty items. So that, like I said, that stuff will be brought with us. It's included. We had a couple wardrobes on there. I know you mentioned that you might be taking the clothes yourself. I'm going to have the guys bring those just in case. If we don't end up using them, we will not charge you for them. But that way, you know, if you don't get those clothes packed ahead of time, we'll go ahead and get those for you while we're doing the move. And you had mentioned you were wanting to move. You didn't have a date here. So let's go ahead. Would it be all right if I just locked you in for, you know, with our company here? What we do is we take a 10% deposit. So we'll get the deposit. I'll get you scheduled. That way we can make sure we're the ones servicing your move. And then when you do have that date, you can give me a call and I can help you get the rest of the process set up so we can get that handled for you. Does that sound okay?
So my 10% deposit, that's off of the total amount there, correct?
Yep, it's off the total amount, and that will go towards your total price on the day of the move.
Gotcha.
So your move was $4,200 and some change. The deposit's, you know, $420. That is refundable if the house falls through, if, you know, something happens. And I know a lot of times people are worried about their move date changing. Not a big deal. Just give me a call. We can adjust that to fit your schedule if we need to.
Okay. Is there any type of insurance on this move?
So there's a couple different options with that. Every moving company is required to have basic valuation coverage. It's 60 cents per piece per pound. It's not really substantial coverage. It's more of just a scratch and dent kind of thing, you know, if some things get scuffed up. We do have additional valuation if that's something you're interested in. That's more of like full coverage protection. And I can go over those options if that's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah, I think so, absolutely.
Okay, so we're looking at the valuation here. We have, for our local valuation, there's a few different deductible options. The most expensive one would be $0 deductible. It's going to be $230. That deductible, again, you won't pay anything, and then that would be the full coverage for that shipment. And there's also a higher deductible option, $500. It's a little bit less expensive, but that deductible will be one time. So if there were multiple claims on the shipment, you would just pay that deductible, and then those items would be taken care of. Which one of those would you like to go with?
How do you guys decide what the insurance amount is?
It's based on the weight of your shipment. So I had 10,400 pounds. So we multiply that by 6. So it's right around $60,000, probably $62,000 of coverage.
Is this something that my homeowners might cover?
Potentially, and I have had clients tell me that before. So a lot of times they'll check with their homeowners first. You may already have that coverage. You may not need to purchase anything additional. But if that's not something that they offer, we can definitely make sure we get that taken care of for you. You do not need to do that now. So if you want to go ahead and get the move scheduled here, we can get you a date, and then you can do your research on that and let me know before the move. We can always add that up until the move.
Okay, so let's just leave the 60-cent coverage on there for now. And so you're saying at like $4,200, that's worst case. Is this a not to exceed estimate?
No, this is an estimate based on how long I think it will take. You know, if I do my job correctly, we're going to hit it right on the money. Ideally, we come in a little bit below that, but we will bill for actual time. So I always tell people, you know, the estimate's 42. Look at maybe 4 to 4,400. You know, weather might be bad that day. You know, we might run into a snag here or there that we didn't account for, but that way, at least, you know, we're giving you a realistic cost on what your move's going to be. So would it be okay if I went ahead and got you a day here? We'll just get a tentative date booked, and like I said, if that needs to change, you can just give me a call back.
That's okay. I think I'll continue price shopping here a little bit, but if you give me your number, I'm willing to give you a call back.
All right, and I'm stuck.
So everyone write down reactive. His biggest problem is that he's reacting constantly, right? So the reason, like, I honestly, and this is no like bash against you, but I think if we put Tyler in an in-home, he would smash your ass. And the reason is because he's so proactive because he knows what's coming, right? You've done this for how long?
About 4 years.
4 years, okay. You already know what questions they're gonna ask, yet you wait for the client to ask instead of bridging the gap. You're just reacting to everything that the client does versus knowing what's coming. We've done this way too long to still be reacting constantly. So for you, like, your biggest breakthrough in the way that you can close more of these is just you're being proactive to the sales process, right? Because a lot of these are the same questions. You're so good at answering them too, because you know the information. You're solid. You can come off immediately with the answer. But a lot of times you already know what the client's gonna ask. So can we save the client and really elevate our professionalism by already coming with the information up front than waiting for them to ask a million questions, right?
Yeah, and part of it, for me, it's a struggle if I'm not there.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's a visual thing. When I'm in the home, you know, you're seeing these things to get ahead of them. Like she mentioned, picking out the items. It's tough for me, honestly, on the spot to just come up with, you know, without having that in front of me to use my eyes.
But you did have an answer to everything.
Yeah, it was good. That was solid.
But the reactive, you're right about that, and I'm very similar to Tyler. I have way too much explaining sometimes. I'm an information guy. I'm like, yes, this, and this. But it helps me to see it in front so I can kind of get ahead of it as I'm walking through the home, which is tough for me to do here. But I agree, you're right.
And I think too, like following that sales process will help so much. Like really dialing in that process for yourself will allow you to be able to just walk through that whole line with the client and make it seamless for them. Yeah. It was good. Like, it was definitely a good interaction and super like on point with the way that you answered the questions because it was super clear. The only thing too is you have so much opportunity to upsell these guys. So something like the insurance and stuff like that, we should have been able to like bring that and present that to the table to the client to upsell. Like the bigger the ticket, the more money you make, right?